Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 66 of the Anime Banter podcast with your host, Turtle, Sean, and Mike. Thank you for joining us today. How are you two doing?
Fantastic. I'm happy to be here. Excited to talk some anime. How about you guys?
For the listeners out there, these guys pulled me away from Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. I'm deciding if I can forgive them or not, but I'm here, so I guess I forgive them.
Apologies. Sorry, not sorry.
Sean, you the real MVP.
We're working our way through it. I'm not done yet, but by the next time we record, I absolutely will be done.
Or you'll die trying.
I hope not. Gosh, it's just a video game. You die in the game, you die in real life.
Whoa.
I
That
just
was
say
that
that's it.
gamer movie, wasn't it?
I think so. It's a really bad way to like maintain your player base, though. You know what I mean? Like, gotta get those repeat transactions from people, and you don't
It's like,
get it if they're dead.
we killed it. We killed 50% of our player base. How are we going to replace them? Kill another 50%.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's a bad way to retain.
Well, I guess it wasn't the players that were dying in that movie. It was the prisoners that they were having be used as avatars.
I never even saw the movie, honestly. I just like the term "you die in the game, you die in real life" because it sounds so edgy.
I mean, there's been a handful of anime who've used that too.
Yeah, I think Sword Art Online is like that, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I've never seen it.
I have. I don't know if I would promote it. I mean, I like it for what it is, but there's definitely some, we'll say some not so great elements to it.
I heard season one's actually pretty solid, but they just kind of keep going.
It does kind of keep going, and I maybe unnecessarily. I don't know. It's hit and miss for me. There's some good stuff. There's some awful stuff. But it has the you die in the game. It's but like they put on like the VR headsets and they're trapped and they can't log off. And if they die in the game, they actually die in real life. That's the premise of it. You get that in episode 1, so it's not a spoiler.
So I think it's been out for a couple months now, but I think we all have finally finished X-Men 97.
Yes, I sure have. That was a week
Yeah,
to week for me.
just a
I
couple weeks ago I finished.
Same. I waited till it was all out because I wanted to binge it. I didn't want to wait each week. I wanted to watch it all and just binge it and enjoy it all at one time.
That's a
That's
show that'd
fair.
be hard for me to watch week to week.
Yeah,
It
especially with some of those cliffhangers.
Yeah.
it was very difficult. The first couple episodes, I was like, I don't know, and then like after like I think episode 2, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I'm really into this, and then it was just like awesome from there on. But
Episode
week to week sucks.
episode 5 was just fucking
Oh,
insane.
oh,
Just oh.
I remember which one number 5 is, but like if you just say episode blank was insane, then I'm just like, yep. I'll
I
stick
I
out pretty
know
much
what
any of them.
I know what of you speak.
Yes.
It definitely made a huge impact on me. I don't want to spoil anything for those who have not seen it. If you haven't, go watch it. It's incredible.
All I know is that theme song still slaps.
Oh yes.
I was watching the very first episode and I was watching this theme song. I was just like headbanging in my recliner while watching it. And my wife just looked at me and smirked. I'm like, the song slapped in the 90s and it still slaps now.
Absolutely. It's so good. I love
Now,
that
did she
track.
watch the original?
No.
Did you guys watch the original, both of you?
I
Yes.
have, yes.
I did as well. It's actually my favorite children's cartoon of all time. Which is why you could see why I was so hyped for X-Men 97. Um, as mentioned before, I'm an X-Men fan before the Avengers, before anything with DC Comics like Batman and all that stuff. I'm an X-Men fan first when it comes to comic book stuff, and I'm glad I'm living in a renaissance of X-Men resurgence here.
It will be interesting to see what happens with season 2 though, because they got rid of the season 1 guy because he did some creepy stuff.
What? Seriously?
Yeah. It
Yeah,
came out right before the first episode came out or right around the first episode release.
yeah, they booted him like immediately. I think before the first episode officially released, they let him go. But I think he wrote for season 2 as well. So I assume they're going to use his story beats and plot and everything. And then if there is a season 3, I don't know if he did anything prepped for that or not.
Dude, why? You know
I
what I mean? Like, why are so many people problematic?
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't hear what happened, but I don't care what happened. Hire this guy back because, like, he's done
oh
an
no, no,
incredible
no,
job.
hold up. No, no, don't say that. I don't know what he did, but don't say
I don't know
that.
what he did either, but, like, this was so good.
I gotta look this up.
Speculation had something to do with his. This is pure speculation, alleged speculation. Just saying all this so I can't get sued or anything.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Yes, I'm just going off an article I found on Game Rant that he was fired by Marvel Studios, and they wonder if his OnlyFans account was at least part of the reason for his firing. With reports of Disney executives finding the content creepy.
He had an OnlyFans?
Yeah,
Uh, I mean,
Easy,
I don't
easy
have anything
fix.
against people having OnlyFans, but I don't know what the content was.
Easy fix. You take the content down, you close the OnlyFans, you come back to Marvel and keep writing for X-Men 97. Done.
I am super excited for season 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I also really hope we get the Goblin Queen or whatever her character was, the uh the Gene clone as a character in Marvel Snap.
Madeline,
Oh,
Yeah.
Madeline Pryor. Yeah, yeah.
the Goblin Queen.
They could do it. I don't know what her powers would be in the game, but they could do it.
I also hope we get more X-Men 97 variants in that game.
Oh yeah, I love the two we got. Was it Bishop and Mr. Sinister?
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
I mean, I don't use either character in the game, but yeah,
I don't really use Bishop, but I think I have one or two decks with Sinister, and I use the 97 variant.
I would.
But yeah, show is fantastic. I was surprised I wasn't spoiled with anything with having waited to binge it.
That's why I was watching week to week. I was afraid to get spoiled, so I wanted to be on top of that show. I gotta watch it.
Hey, we have some other good shows here, with some people with superpowers, right?
Hey, we have some. I believe we are talking about episodes 5 of Kaiju number 8 and season 7, episode 5 of My Hero Academia today. Kaiju number 8, episode 5. Joining up. We get a recap of episode 3 and 4 to start the episode. I feel like this is the first episode to do a recap to begin the episode with.
That's okay. A lot's happened.
Yeah, I don't recall an episode with them with this show being like last time on or previously on.
Getting your X-Men 97 reference in here, you know.
Hey. We see Kafka absolutely freaking out as he waits to hear if he passed the exam or not. He shakes Ichikawa and says, "How dare you push me?" Ichikawa makes mention of how he was being thanked at the hospital. A man in a suit interrupts the freakout with the test results for the two. Cue the opening.
Man, I do gotta say that it's really a shame that Kafka fails this test and the series just ends. Like, I feel like the series could have been pretty good, but yeah, he just failed and that was it.
A good start. Maybe we'll get a season 2 or he can try again.
Maybe we'll follow a different character, you know.
Maybe season 2 will just be him with his Shinomiya fanboy account.
We do know he's her biggest fan.
Ichikawa and Kafka are sitting at a table staring at their envelopes containing their test results. Kafka says, "Let's open them on 3." Kafka realizes this is his last shot at standing side by side with Mina. He counts to 3 and he slowly pulls out his test results. His mouth drops as his eyes get big.
Yeah, you said slowly pulled out his, and I was like, what? Oh, test result. Oh, test results.
Sean, focus on the episode and not the Dawn Trail.
Yeah, well, Dawn Trail's not exactly like that. You know, I don't know what you guys have been told on the internet, but Dawn Trail is not like that.
You don't have the waifu mod installed?
No, they're trying to make me a furry though. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that in my review later. Maybe next week.
We're in a conference room with people in dress uniforms. We can see Furuhashi, Izumo, and Kaguragi, as well as some faces we've never seen before. Izumo and Kaguragi share pleasantries. Neither is surprised to see each other. We see Ichikawa standing behind Furuhashi. Izumo points out that Kafka isn't there. Shinomiya walks into the room, and we learn that she scored the highest score and will be taking the oath for everyone. We learn that this is the induction ceremony for the new recruits to the Defense Force.
Pretty simple ceremony.
Uh, with Kafka not making it, we're still gonna move on with the show. I see.
That's right. Yeah, he's a side character now.
I was gonna say we have enough other main characters to follow.
Yeah, all these different hair colors.
Put them all together, and you got the Megazord.
Yeah, there we go. Kaiju Zord.
Hey.
I am waiting for them to, one of these episodes. They're just gonna roll out a giant robot and be like, "This is our newest weapon against the kaiju's."
I'll take it.
It's anime. There's always a giant robot.
There's got to be. It's a requirement.
Furuhashi bumps into Ichikawa. He recognizes Ichikawa for hanging out with that old dude. They introduce themselves, and Furuhashi apologizes as he's terrible with names. Furuhashi slaps Ichikawa on the shoulder and assumes Kafka failed.
I'm terrible with names too, redhead.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mike, for putting all the names in here because I'm not gonna remember a single one.
You're welcome. The room is called to attention as Mina is introduced and walks in. The main characters look at Mina and all say something internally. The ceremony begins as Shinomiya walks up to the stage to accept the induction of the 27 inductees to the Defense Force. Mina thanks her for her courageous actions to ensure no loss of life after Top Hat Kaiju showed up. Shinomiya internally realizes she didn't do anything, but it was Kafka, and he should be the one giving this acceptance speech. Shinomiya wonders where he is, and wants answers as Kafka tries to loudly sneak into the ceremony.
Kafka, why are you there, dude? You didn't pass.
Yeah, you failed, man.
Shinomiya blushes at the sight of Kafka. Ichikawa smiles. Furuhashi is excited to see the old dude. Mina has a look of concern on her face. Uh-oh, Sean. We getting that Shinomiya Kafka ship.
No, don't do this, man. They man, I hope man. They better not. I don't want to see any of that stuff. Like, let's go to some age appropriate relationships, all right?
We see they initially wanted to fail Kafka as he had the lowest score. Mina is ready to fail him when Hoshina speaks up in favor of Kafka. He points out Kafka's knowledge of kaiju, how he wasn't hunting for kills during the exam, but rather focused on the mission. That is a rare quality shown in exam takers and shows a great presence of mind. He says, more than that, though, the guy is funny as hell, and that counts for something in his book. Hoshina is willing to give him a shot at being a cadet in his platoon.
Good guy Hoshina. He knows something's up. He recognizes the greatness of Kafka, and I guess now Kafka's in, so I can't make the jokes anymore about him not being in.
Yeah, I think Hoshina's MVP of this episode.
Kafka's that guy in a video game where he actually focuses on the objective in a multiplayer shooter instead of going out hunting for kills.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I gotta move the payload. All right, I'm gonna stick by the payload.
that's me, because I'm not good at shooting people.
I thought you were the decoy on Halo.
Yes, I am the decoy in Halo. Absolutely. I will just jump out in the middle of the map. I will die, and then I hope that my death means my teammates figured out where I was shot from and go do their thing.
Kafka reminds me a little bit of me, where you guys remember gym class, right? Physical education in high school and middle school and earlier, right? And you go and you play something like soccer or flag football or any sport pretty much. And everyone just wanted to score goals all the time. And then when I was in gym class, my team won a lot in a lot of sports we played. Not because I'm particularly athletic, but I feel like I was the only person in the entire class who was actually willing to play defense. Like, no one else plays defense. Everyone just tries to run at the ball and kick it as hard as they can at the net or whatever, right? And it's like no one does that. But a lot of times if someone's just willing to play defense and defend like properly and strategically, you can win. And Kafka's a great defensive asset. His team will win.
Kafka stands at attention as he looks at Mina. Mina informs the room that she had him sit out of the induction ceremony as he is only a cadet. Mina gives the room a pep talk about the defense force and a higher emergence of kaiju of late. Kafka says the internal monologue part out loud by accident and says, "I'll be there. I'll be by your side soon, Mina. I swear." We see the shocked faces of Ichikawa, Shinomiya, and the other officers on stage as the room clears in front of Kafka. Mina tells Kafka he is supposed to address his superiors in turn and rank. He owes her 100 push ups. Hoshina is losing it at Kafka already. Hoshina says they need Kafka, that this line of work needs comedy, but there is something else eating at him.
This scene was brilliant. I love this. Like the yelling out the Mina stuff and Hoshina losing it. Like the show has a very good sense of humor. We mentioned it before, and they continue to have that. So even when things are too emotional or whatever, like you get a good laugh here and there.
I agree. I think the comedy bits have been excellent in the show. Absolutely excellent. And this scene is no exception.
Kafka completes his 100 push ups in a pool of sweat, and the room claps for him. Shinomiya walks up, saying she needs to talk to him in private. Furuhashi asks her if she's asking Kafka out. Ichikawa realizes what is happening. Shinomiya walks up to Kafka and kicks him in the face.
Rude. Rude and
I
uncalled for.
I absolutely lost it when she just walked up to him, kicks him in the face, and she's like, "Come with me."
Rude and uncalled for.
We're at a diner called Bonnie's. The logo looks like Denny's. The chauffeur is sitting outside in the car. We hear a shriek from Shinomiya. She freaks out at the thought of Kafka eating a kaiju and now being part kaiju. Kafka yells back saying it wasn't on purpose. Ichikawa tells them both to stop yelling. Shinomiya says the defense force will kill him if they ever find out about Kafka, and says they'll cut him up and run tests on him. Kafka and Ichikawa turn sheet white out of fear. Kafka begs her not to say anything. Shinomiya says she won't say anything, but if Kafka turns evil, she'll put him down herself.
I doubt that'll happen. Her putting him down. I mean, if he goes evil, he's just killing everyone.
I don't know, she's pretty strong.
Doesn't she mention something like when he's explaining that he ate the kaiju, she's like, "Do boys just eat anything?"
I think so.
Which really made me laugh. I love that. But I also really loved Kafka's response at the end of the conversation where she's like, "If you like, go evil, I'm going to kill you myself." And he's like, "Yeah, you should." Like imagine, like in this society like you become a kaiju, which is the thing that you want to fight against. You're going to always have this fear of like, well, what if I lose myself? What if I become a full-blown kaiju and I'm not me anymore?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little weird that he got turned into a kaiju and then it's like a good guy, and you're like, I want to know, like, we haven't gotten a single answer as to like why that one dude was looking for him. The guy who turned him into a kaiju, or like why he turned him into a kaiju, or there are like so many unanswered questions, and they're not in a hurry to explain any of it.
No, we have not gotten any sort of explanation or even like hints that it happened and we moved on. So I'm very curious about what that kaiju thing was and why it was searching for Kafka specifically.
We go to the training ground as we get a montage of the new recruits going through a shooting exercise. We learn that in their training, their unleashed combat powers have begun to grow. We learn that Kafka's unleashed power is now up to 1%. Kafka is celebrating. Hoshina tells him if he keeps improving at this rate, he's getting tossed. He has 3 months to shape up. Hoshina has them run 15 laps around the facility.
But Kafka's improving so fast. If you consider how exponential, wasn't it 0.1% now?
He was
Before?
he was 0.01 and now he's at 1%.
Oh, one? He's multiplying 100-fold. He'll be at 100% soon.
Exactly.
I love how he chased around Shinomiya like, I'm not a zero anymore. I'm a cool 1%. What do you think of that?
That was so good.
Sean, I know you were a fan of this upcoming scene with it being the bathhouse scene.
Ah, yeah, of course. I love the bathhouse. That's an anime trope, you know what I mean? You gotta give the bathhouse.
We head to said bathhouse. Kafka is dead tired. Furuhashi and Ichikawa are comparing muscles as Kafka stands up out of the bath to show off his muscles of a working adult. Furuhashi can't believe how jacked Kafka is. Kafka can't hold his breath anymore, and we see the return of Kafka's gut.
Accurate.
Truth. Furuhashi says, You want to protect the country? You can't even protect your waistline, which cracks up Ichikawa.
It's hard, man.
It is a little funny.
I love how Ichikawa's like trying to fight off the laughter. He's like, "Come on, that's rude." Meanwhile, he's dying internally at the crack. Kaguragi walks in, absolutely jacked, causing Kafka, Ichikawa, and Furuhashi to shut up real fast as they dive back into the bath.
Oh, just boys admiring each other, boys' bodies, nothing unusual here.
Like, hey, bro, looking real swole.
I'm not ashamed to admit I'm the guy with the gut.
Yup.
I think we're all guys with guts on this podcast.
If you're a guy and you have an anime podcast, you either have a gut or you're like anorexically skinny usually. There's like the two ends there. Not saying there aren't jacked guys who have anime podcasts, but I think the other side of that is they might have money and they don't have to work a full-time job.
Yeah, working out to build a body like that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
That's something I don't have.
We head to the women's locker room. We see Mina drinking some orange juice. Shinomiya is surprised to see her in the locker room. Shinomiya has a fangirl moment, oogling Mina's muscles. She gets caught and asks Mina what training she does to maintain her physique.
She's like, I don't do any training. I was just born this way.
I just am.
That is not what she said.
Back to the male bathhouse, and we learn it's story time as we learn what made everyone join the defense force. Furuhashi says Mina saved his life when he was in middle school. Azumo said it was partly family stuff, but mainly because Mina was such an inspiration. Kaguragi says it was the same for him. We learn that everyone joined because of Mina. Kafka tells the group that him and Mina were childhood friends, shocking the room. Kafka tries to exit the bath as he's pulled back in for more story time of Mina.
The guys need the dirt.
You figure they all admire her because she's like the best, and they want to be able to, reach that level or at least be close to it to be recognized, by her. Like, hey, you're doing a great job. So, of course, with Kafka having the all the stories, like, hey, we grew up together. I know her. They all want to know about her.
Yeah, they're like, Kafka, did she give you any nudes?
I loved how the art looked when they were pulling him back into the bath. They're like, "Where are you going? You have more stories to tell." And they're all like purple and dark, and like their hands are like creepily on his shoulders. We learn that the guys were in the bath for too long and are all overheated. Shinomiya wants to know why boys are always so dumb.
We just are, okay?
It's genetics, girl.
We get another montage of the new recruits. This one consists of training, the sauna, and eating together. In this montage, though, White Tiger gives Kafka the death stare, and still until it starts to get pets from other recruits.
White Tiger doesn't like Kafka. That makes me sad.
I thought he would like Kafka because it's Mina's pet.
He knows Kafka's part kaiju.
Oh, maybe
Oh, that could be it.
that keen sense of smell.
We see Kafka exhausted in the library taking notes. Hoshina walks in on him. Hoshina says it's Kafka's job to stay well rested. Kafka says he can't afford to get cut from the force. We learn that the defense force hears every word spoken within the building, including the bathhouse. Kafka says he made a promise to stand by Mina's side. Hoshina wonders if that means he's after the vice captain seat. Kafka freaks out at first, but then says that's exactly what he meant. Hoshina says Kafka has 2 more hours, and that he's not taken his place without a fight. Hoshina recommends not getting too close to his colleagues, as anything can happen in this line of work. The episode ends with the kaiju alarm going off.
Good episode.
Very good episode. I enjoyed this one a lot, and I'm excited to see the first kaiju assault as official employees of the Defense Force.
Yeah, that's my thing. World building is so important to me in these types of things, and this is really gonna like set the tone for how we view the defense force, right? So, if it, yeah, essentially they need to do this operation well, so I can be invested in the defense force and what they do. Convince me that they're effective. Besides me to shooting a big gun, they already shown that. Show me why recruits are effective. And that's like my challenge to them for the next episode. Like they care what my challenge is.
I'm gonna say that they are going to succeed. I mean, from what we've seen so far in the show, we're what 4 episodes in, 5 episodes in, and it's really been for me like awesome. I really have no complaints on this show, so I think they're gonna hit it out of the park.
That's really good storytelling so far.
I've been loving this show. This episode was fantastic. Another good mix of action, world building, comedy. I'm very excited to see where the show goes from here. Especially because you have to figure next episode's going to be very action packed if the kaiju alarm's going off. They wouldn't do a false alarm just to get the recruits out of bed when they should be sleeping, would they?
I don't think so.
Nah.
I mean, that seems like it's always a trope when it's like, oh, you're new to the military. Hold on, we're going to ring this false alarm to see how quickly you would respond in an active situation.
And then yell at them that they took too long, and then
Yeah.
everyone's dead
Yep.
because they wait too long. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right. No, that is a trope.
I don't think we're gonna get that though.
It just feels like they're not ready though. Like I'm not convinced any of them should be putting on stuff and going into the field. I feel like they've barely done anything.
I think Shinomiya would be able to be fine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
she's a
sure.
prodigy though.
I mean, they showed the training in montages, so we don't know like how long have they been training? Is it like 2 days, two
That's
weeks, two
true.
months,
Yeah, I would like to have a little more clarity on time.
and all of their performance numbers and compatibility with the suits have gone up. They said, so I think they'll be fine.
Hmm, Guess we'll see whenever half the squad gets wiped out immediately.
Ooh,
It's gonna be Attack
Bold
on Titan style, where they kill off three
oh
fourths of the
no.
military, or whatever.
bold prediction time with Sean.
Nah, it's not that kind of show. Not yet, anyway. I don't get those vibes that it's like a ultra doom and gloom kill everyone show. Which I'm okay with. I've seen plenty of those shows.
Hoshina did bring up that don't get too comfortable with your teammates because anything can happen. So this show could flip us on our heads and just start killing people off.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's possible.
I gotta tell you too, I'm thirsty.
You should get something to drink.
They say alcohol's the best medicine.
I've heard that before.
That means it's time for Mike's Beer of the Week. This week's beer comes to you from Angel Sitting Brewing in Los Angeles, California. And it is their Angel City IPA, a 6.1% IPA. This is your basic West Coast IPA. It's nothing too crazy, not much to write home about. I wish I could say more, but it was basic. It had the hops, the front facing hops, some fruit flavor, but like wasn't anything crazy. Yeah, so it's a short Mike's Beer of the Week this week. The untapped average rating is a 3.5, and I give it a 3.25. Now that our thirst has been quenched, let's shift gears to talk about My Hero Academia Season 7, Episode 5, Let You Down. Before we get into the episode, anyone else think of Rick Astley when they saw the episode title?
Oh, I did not.
I didn't, but it's kind of funny.
Shame on me.
I don't think I read the title of this episode.
It's nighttime. We zoom in on a rundown house covered in graffiti that says, responsible for bringing her into the world. Demon House. Die. Turn yourselves in. Scum family, go away. And die, blood-sucking devil, go away. We see Toga walking through the house. We hear a female voice saying, they tried their best, but their child is a demon. Toga continues to walk through the house as we see more vile graffiti. We hear a male voice saying, stop this. No one will accept this vile side of you. You can't just do whatever you want. We hear a different female voice asking Himiko, why is your face so scary? Toga opens the door to a room.
It's kind of messed up.
I was going to say, just like seeing the graffiti, it's like, man, no wonder Toga is a villain with the things people saying right about her.
Well, this is the interesting part of Hero Society. No, sorry, the society that they don't show you is everything looks good when you're in the hero exams, right? Because everyone's pretty accepting and they're all good people because they want to help others, right? But in modern society, they talk about people like Spinner. You know, the people who are like anthropomorphic, they're kind of treated like freaks, even though they just have, even though all their stuff just comes from quirks like everyone else. And you realize that not all people with quirks are created equal, and humans will always find a way to find people different from them and discriminate against them.
It's a really bad habit of humanity.
Yes.
We get a flashback of a very young Toga biting her wrist as she talks about a dream where a bird dances all over her, then pecks at her belly and makes her bleed. She says being covered in blood makes her feel warm and fuzzy.
I know we just talked about being accepting, but that's kind of messed up.
Yeah, maybe that kid is a freak.
That's a bizarre dream.
Toga walks out of the house. Dobby can't believe she's sentimental as he's sitting on a windowsill across the street. Toga says she was just curious what happened to her old house. Dobby asks if that means she's prepared, in which she replies, "Don't know what you mean," as she skips off. Dobby says he means, "Are you ready to end this pathetic world?" In which Toga replies she's always ready. Dobby sets her childhood home ablaze. Toga says that was nice of him to do. Toga pulls out a vial of blood. Dobby says it will work. We learn that the vial contains the blood of the real Twice. For a quick refresh on Toga's powers, she can not only imitate people's appearances, but also, as long as she really cared for that person, she can imitate their quirk as well.
Seems kind of dangerous. Twice's ability is pretty crazy. So to have that back in the field come into play, I can only imagine what their plan's going to be.
Yeah, I guess she's gonna just do the same thing twice. Did it multiply a billion times or something?
We'll find out.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Back in the All for One cave. Dun-dun-dun. We hear a yell. Spinner is surprised. Spinner walks towards a cavern, asking if Shigaraki is okay. And we see Shigaraki is not looking like himself. We learn Spinner is becoming a bigger spokesperson for the Liberation Front, and people idolize him. They want Spinner to take Redestro's place. Spinner wants to help for Shigaraki's sake.
Yeah, I love whenever he's on the ground, like puking his gut. He's like writhing in pain. He's like, "Is he okay?" And All for One's like, "He's fine. Leave him alone.
Don't worry about him. He'll be all
Ignore
right.
him. Ignore him. He's fine. He's just complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a whiner." This dude's like screaming in pain.
All for One really cares about his subordinates.
He cares about his new body, though. That's for sure.
We head to the UA evacuation center, and we see a man and woman meeting about causing chaos inside the center. Back at UA, we learn that Class 1A is whooped after a hard day of training. A couple of our heroes are wondering if they have enough downtime or not. We learn that Deku and Uraraka haven't spoken since the end of Season 6. Deku is about to go and talk to her when All Might opens the door, sending Denki flying across the room. All Might enters saying, "I am here again, entering in a totally chill way." I absolutely lost it at this bit.
I love All Might so much. I'm so glad they didn't kill off the mentor character like they usually do in media like this.
Yes, All Might is amazing, and I love Chris Sabat's performance as the English voice actor.
You guys and Chris Sabat.
He's amazing, dude.
How can you not love Sabat?
I do like Sabat. You guys are like, no, I said love, not like.
Yeah, you need to
Get
take
it
it to the
right.
next level, Sean. Like is not enough.
All Might says they are only discussing the final battle plan with a select few people. Principal Nezu is speaking on the PA system, saying that Shigaraki and the League will be making their next attack in 4 days, and when it happens, UA will enter martial law, and security will reach maximum levels. The man we saw earlier about causing chaos is zoomed in on and looks shook. We learn that Deku and the rest of Class 1A is leaving the evacuation center. We get a montage of Class 1A saying goodbye to their families and people they have helped along the way.
Yeah, I would offer some like input, but there isn't much to say. They're just kind of like, it's the calm before the storm.
It was funny seeing how some of the families reacted. Like, some of them were very tearful, but others were like not excited, but like proud. Some of them just beat up on their kids.
Bakugo's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is this is the we're in the end game now moment. This is the beginning of the end.
Class 1A has moved into a new makeshift fortress called Troy. Is it just me, or does this building look a lot like UA?
Not just you. It
Not
does.
just you.
We learn that it's nowhere near as strong as UA. And I love how even the students are pointing out how similar looking it is to UA.
See, not just you. It's UB. UA's over there. This is UB. Get it? Bad joke.
I smiled. I didn't laugh out loud into the microphone, but I smiled.
Yeah, most people wouldn't laugh out loud until I actually pointed out and tried to explain my awful joke.
Uraraka is standing on the edge of a cliff. Deku sees her.
Don't jump.
I mean, she can float.
I know. I know that. I
Actually,
don't
she
know
would be one of
why.
the few people who would jump and be okay.
That just got me. Keep going. I'm fine. Don't jump.
When you said Uraraka, I was like, no, Uraraka.
Deku sees her from his dorm and jumps down to talk to her. Deku tries to make awkward small talk, asking if she's done unpacking. Deku thanks her for the speech, and she points out it was nothing, but finds it odd that he still obsesses over every tiny little detail. I thought that was like a weird response for just like a nice compliment. Like, hey, thanks. It really helped like snap me out of my funk.
She's like, yeah, thanks. Did you write that in your little notebook, you freak?
Uraraka says that she's pretty weird. Deku's like, no, you're not. And then he starts listing off all the great things about her. Like, oh, you do this and this and this and this, and you're carrying this. It's like, whoa, Deku, slow down on captaining that ship, my friend.
Dude, play it cool, man.
Be cool, be cool, be cool. She says that's not what she meant. But when she was giving that speech, she thought of Toga and how she said some stuff that felt like common sense to her, but how upset it made Toga. She knows that Toga is a villain, and she can't forgive her. Deku says he gets it, as Shigaraki has done horrible things, but can't shake the little boy crying inside that Deku saw. Uraraka says they're both kind of weird.
But especially Deku.
3 days later, back in the All For One cave, All For One is saying lies do not work on him. He can tell if someone has the slightest bit of deception in their mind. He talks about how he stole this quirk in his early days while he's doom scrolling Instagram on his phone. All For One is on the phone with someone and says he can go for a good drink. As the woman says she'll have her son deliver a nice bottle of wine. All For One asks for his contact info. We learn that the woman on the other side is Ayama's mom. All For One can detect no lies or ill will during the phone call. He's ready for the delivery tomorrow.
He has no idea.
Looking forward to it.
We see Deku and Ayama in the parking garage. Ayama hangs up the phone. He's out on release. Deku is ready to get him on a search party, but Ayama wants to talk alone first. He finds it funny that the courts are still in session with the world collapsing. He explains how the whole world is going to shit, and Deku is unsure why he's telling him all of this. He unveils that All For One's real goal is to become the Demon Lord, as he would have all the quirks to create water, energy, food, etc. He would become the ruler of the entire world. Deku doesn't believe people would allow that to happen. Ayama begins to cry and says he had no choice, as All For One descends behind him.
I know this is like a big reveal moment, but did anybody else like facepalm a little bit when he said he wanted to be called the Demon Lord?
Yeah, I did a little bit.
I was like, what is this, an isekai? Come on.
I was alright with it. I'll let it slide.
Like, World King, anything would be better than the Demon Lord.
It's a little cliche.
Yeah.
And it's not like All For One is a demon either.
No. At least in like the other isekai shows that use that, it usually involves an actual demon.
I'm still gonna let it slide.
All For One applauds Ayama's performance. Deku yells at Ayama how he trusted him. Ayama says, "Dear uncle, I won't betray my friends," as he turns and shoots a belly laser at All For One, a blast that doesn't even faze him. Deku praises Ayama's acting. We learn that Ayama wet himself during the performance.
I didn't need that, by the way. They could have left that out.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to throw in there. Like I get it, like they're showing how afraid he was to like turn on All For One, but they could have hinted at it a different way.
He had his cool moment. You guys got taken away with the pee pants.
I don't know, it's kind of liberating. It's like, hey, I wet myself and I'm still here.
You're not cool unless you pee your pants.
That's right.
Billy Madison taught me that one. I'm still peeing my pants every day. I'm doing it right now.
If peeing your pants is cool, then makes me Miles Davis. All for One feels like something is amiss, as he could detect no malice in their earlier conversation. All for One summons portals that draws forth Toga, Dabi, Nomu, Shigaraki, and other villains. Kurogiri's portals begin to open behind Ayama, as Endeavor and other heroes begin to emerge. What an absolutely incredible ending to this episode. It felt like Endgame.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
everybody's coming out of portals.
All that was missing was On Your Left.
Oh,
What did you two think of this episode?
Yeah, I was gonna say that I liked it. Like next week, it was a good lead up to let the action begin. We're gonna see some pretty crazy stuff. Um, I already know what's gonna happen. But I'm gonna really enjoy the ride because I'm a manga reader for this one. Um, there are a lot of times in the manga where I'm like watching the action, and I'm like, I have no clue what the heck this is supposed to be. Like, I'm like, what was this a picture of? And I feel like I do like the action in the manga, but every once in a while there's a panel where I'm just like, what did he draw here? Or like, what is this supposed to represent? Who's winning? That's half the time I'm like, who the heck's winning? I can't tell. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it animated because I know that the studio does a really good job of the animation. Though I haven't watched in like 2 to 3 seasons. I'm looking forward to seeing this play out animated. It'll be a delight for the eyes.
yeah, I think this is a pretty good episode. I'm very ready for the action to kick off. I think I've had enough setup, and clearly the next episode we're gonna get a ton of action. So they didn't drag the setup out too long. I've reached my limit for setup. It's time for battles. Let's fight. I want to see characters squaring off, one-on-ones, group battles. It's absolute madness. I want to see heroes and villains duking it out. And yeah, we're going to be getting that like next episode. So I'm very excited for that. This was a pretty good one. And yeah, I think that's all I got.
I also really dug this episode. I'm excited for things to really pick up. Like, it felt like these past couple episodes have been setting the table for what's to come this season. And now we're going to be in the thick of it. And now it is time for the waifu of the week. Sean, who is your waifu of the week?
My waifu of the week is Hoshina because he got Kafka into the defense force. So if without Hoshina, we don't even have a show, pretty much. So thank you, Hoshina, for picking Kafka where his own childhood friend didn't.
Turtle, who is your waifu of the week?
This week, I'm going with Guy Crimson from That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime because he's an actual demon lord. No, I'm kidding. I'm going with Tummy Laser, man. That's what I'm calling him. We had last episode the big speech, like, you too can be a hero. And he got carted away to the police station. We didn't know what was going to happen. He got let go, and we didn't really see them get to explain a plan. So I don't know if they like ever talked to him or if he just instinctively and intuitively knew that this was going to happen, between the two of them. So I don't know how it shook out, but he chose the path of the hero to fight against All for One. So we're going with Tummy Laser, spelled Lazor.
My waifu of the week this week is Sean for putting Don Cho down to record with us tonight.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, Sean. Woo! Your trophy's in the mail, brother.
But in all seriousness, I'm also going with Tummy Laser Ayama, and for the same exact reasons that Turtle pointed out.
Lazor.
thank you all for joining us this week as we watch Kaiju number 8 in My Hero Academia. Sean, I want to kick it over to you to talk about Tekko 2024.
Yeah, we talked a little bit last week. By the time you listen to this, Tekko still will not have happened. So yeah, last week you heard my plug for Tekko 2024. Come to Pittsburgh's premier anime convention. Reach out to us on social media. Let us know if you're going to be there. And swing by and say hi. We want to hear about what you have to say about the podcast. So yeah, please let us know, and please attend Tekko 2024.
And that is July 18th through the 21st at the David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope you join us next week for episode 67 of the Anime Banter podcast, where we will continue our watch of My Hero Academia Season 7 in Kaiju number 8. Please give us a 5-star review on all platforms that allow reviews. If you are listening on YouTube, please like the video, hit the notification bell, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. The Anime Banter podcast can be found on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. Thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you next week.